Alright, this is Andrew with Jonah Home Inspections. We are doing a sewer scope today, January 14th, 2026. We're at 1314 West, 200 North in Clearfield. We have the camera pushed out 115 feet to the city connection. Now we're going to pull it back and record it and see what we find. So this first connection point is called the nose on. This is where it goes from your lateral line into the main city line. Looks like this drains into a manhole. It doesn't look like it drops in a traditional way. It looks like that one's going into a manhole, which is nice. If you ever have the line cleaned, you can have all the waste pulled back towards that city line instead of accessing it closer to your house. Trying to get a better look at this. I can't tell if that's a cobweb or if that's a pipe that's encroaching in. I think it's a cobweb, but I'm not 100% sure. So right there, we're starting to go underwater, and it feels almost like the pipe drops on the house side. And so right there, it kind of drops off, and there's a little bit of an offset. That's the spot that I kind of had to fight to get my camera head over. But that's a little ledge that waste could potentially get stuck, and if enough waste gets stuck, it can create a blockage where it then backs up towards the house. So not ideal. I asked the seller, and it sounds like they haven't ever had backups, which is always a good sign, but it's hard to predict whether that would cause an issue in the future. It's also possible once a pipe slips like that it continues to move, which would make it worse and make it more likely for an issue to happen. The other issue with that offset is that it's causing it to hold water. When it holds water like that, waste can get stuck, and then water is going to have to build up to kind of flush it out. This looks like a plastic line starting to go underwater again there, and that one didn't feel like it had an offset. It just felt like a belly where it kind of gradually goes underwater and then comes out of it. Not very long, which is good. Again, going underwater there, a little bit of buildup around this belly, and this one's a little bit longer. You can see all that kind of sludge built up on the pipe. I might consider having it hydrojetted. That would blast out all this buildup and make it less likely for waste to get stuck. And when you have bellies, that's one thing you can do to kind of proactively stay up on top of it. That way it's less likely for waste to be building up and creating a blockage. But the only permanent fix for a belly is to dig up the pipe and re-slope it, which would be very costly. You can get insurance on the line. That way if you do have a backup, they'll come clear it for you. Downside with that is that they'll continue to clear it. They won't just proactively dig it up. The common insurance is HomeServe, but you can also get it through some of the homeowners insurance companies like State Farm. Again, going in and out of water through here with some buildup on the pipe. I noticed that as soon as I pulled the camera or the clean out cap off, there's an odor. When a sewer line has standing water or a belly, they smell a certain way. So I assumed that it was going to have some standing water, which it definitely does. I would call these moderate bellies. Far from the worst that I've seen, but also long enough that it's hard to predict whether they would cause a backup or not. Like I said, it's a good sign that they haven't already, that we know of. But when you're starting to get waste stuck in the line and build up in the pipe, And that's the start of a blockage. Now we're transitioning to ABS. So this is under the house. Never good to have a belly, but where you don't want one is under the house. To get to this pipe, you'd have to open up the basement slab. And so that looked dry. That's good. So just a recap, you do have some standing water. I'd call them moderate bellies. And so I would consider having the line cleaned. And I would recommend getting the insurance on the line, but also knowing that the only way to permanently fix a belly is to dig it up and reslope it. Good news here is it sounds like there haven't been backups that we know of, and they're also not incredibly long bellies. You have multiple bellies, which isn't good, but they're less than 10 feet. Once they're longer than that, or even worse, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet, then it becomes much more concerning. I'm going to end this recording now.